Hello my friends and welcome back to Deep Rock Galactic Survivors. Hope you're all doing well. Today, I'm going to show you how to beat Gate 2 and unlock the higher difficulty settings. This is at Hazard 3, so I think it's the first major difficulty spike for the game, but you still don't need to do a ton of grinding in order to beat it. As you can see, I have played just enough missions to unlock the difficulty at each previous Hazard level, and one or two more just for fun. So that's where we're at in terms of this account. So we're going to pick Crystalline Caverns, because it's the most straightforward of the maps, and I'm going to use the Driller, because I haven't showcased this character since the full release of the game. And I really like the Driller. You just run around mining stuff, so it's a very chill and relaxed playstyle. One piece of gear that we have that's a little bit important. Oh, right. So I have to select this. There's a bug right now where you have to select the character and then go back, and then you can hit the modify gear menu. There we go. It finally worked. So one piece of gear that we have that's important to the character is that Bosco, our little drone, picks up XP. This will help us just level up quickly. You don't need this, but it is a nice piece of gear, so I wanted to mention that we have that in particular. All right, let's pick the Foreman for extra mining speed and get into the game. So we leveled up right away as soon as we landed, because we landed on some minerals, and then we're just going to take a fire rate upgrade on our weapon. We have the mushroom quest, which is the worst quest to have gotten, unfortunately. Because this one, what you want, of course, is the mining quests on the mining-focused character, so the one for Morkite is really good for this character. The mushroom quest requires you to run around a lot and doesn't really play to the character's strengths, so is significantly worse. Now, we're going to try to level our weapon as quickly as possible, and on this character, we're going to basically ignore the enemies. Our gun just shoots backwards, so we get a ton of value just from running away from stuff and mining. I'm going to go ahead and take the paint job here, get +3 to our weapon, and get this to 6 right away. So actually an interesting option here. I'm not sure how good this is, but I could go with the balanced overclock and focus on whatever our second weapon is, and then stop leveling the Subata, because we got the sidearm upgrade, which is pretty interesting. I think I'm just going to go with gas rerouting here. Taking a few extra hits here, which I don't really need to. Because I'm not... I think that the sidearm upgrade's an interesting path, but I'm not, like, confident in that playstyle yet, so I'm going to show you how to do a more normal play pattern. Also, this will be better for if you're trying to do this yourself, because you're not guaranteed to get that overclock. So, we have a choice here. We can go for acid or fire damage as our second weapon type. I'm going to go with the impact axe, which will be kinetic damage, and then we could maybe combine that with the Subata's kinetic damage for a kinetic build. I think for this character, I'm going to go with the sludge pump. I really like the sludge pump because it just leaves damage on the ground behind you, which is exactly what you want when you're playing the Driller. And so we'll be able to clear big chunks of enemies with that. And then, because we have our first swarm showing up, I'm looking for areas to mine for resources, because of course we always want those. I'm also looking for areas where we can find a big chunk of rocks that we can then use to channel the swarm into a narrow pathway, because that will help us stay alive against the swarm enemies. So this, for example, is a really good spot to take a swarm fight from, because they're all going to have to come into these little narrow corridors, and then we can just mine out to the east here, and all of the enemies will have to stack on top of each other, and we will not be at any risk from the swarm. We're not going to worry about killing them yet, because I'm still just running around looking for more resources, more gold and nitra. Here, let me just take 10% damage upgrade. When in doubt, extra damage is always good. And we want weapon levels because we want to get to our overclock unlocks at 12 and 18 as quickly as possible. Need to find one more mushroom. I really dislike the mushroom quest. Also, I didn't realize this was a dead end. So at higher... at later stages of the game, running into a dead end like that can be really dangerous, so slightly poor movement by me. Trying to maintain our Foreman buff as well. So the way that this character works is, as you mine rocks, you get this buff. It stacks up to 25 times, and it increases your mining speed. So you want to constantly be mining so that you don't lose that buff. Small movement thing that we did there also was to mine out that extra bit of rock so that there was a pathway for our gun, which shoots backwards, to shoot through. Go ahead and pick up this gold, and I'm gonna keep upgrading our Subata here. I'm gonna work my way back around to the supply drop, and then we're gonna drop it on the head of the elite in order to kill it relatively quickly. Then I'll probably make my way back to the left to pick up all the stuff that the XP that we dropped from the swarm that we've killed. So wait for the elite to get a little bit closer, and then we can just walk over here and drop the supply drop right on its head. Took it out. Definitely want the gold scanner. You really want these scanner upgrades on this character, of course, because they will let you get tons of resources since we're mining so aggressively. I really like piercing. I also don't hate reload speed. 30 nitra is probably worth 2 upgrades in the shop. We already have 44 nitra though, so maybe I just want the epic upgrade here. I'm not certain which of those is better. Then I'm going to take reload speed in order to get this upgraded again. I'll go with fire damage. We have the sludge pump, which is acid, but the other weapons that we're likely to pick are probably going to be fire, so we'll probably focus on those, and we won't focus too much on the sludge pump on this character, on this version of the build. You want to stack one type of damage because it unlocks damage type upgrades for that element. So I had to take one hit there to give us the room to run to the exit. Unfortunately, I would have liked if the drop pod had gone to the left here, because we'd have been able to go backwards and pick up some of the XP that we left on the ground. That didn't happen, so we just have to focus on getting to the exit here. Trying to do at least a little mining for our gold with our scanner. Get on the ramp here, and then we just wait for the exit. We're level 13, which is a little lower than I would like. I really like to try to be level 15 after the first wave, but we got a decent number of resources, so I'm not too unhappy. I'll take the reload speed upgrade on this, I think. Still do want to get this to level 6, even though we're not going to focus on it primarily. And then I will take a max HP upgrade here. I want to hit 300 or so HP, so that's getting some HP and armor early is nice, and we can take status effect damage as well. I'm not going to bother locking the crit chance upgrade. I don't think we're going to build around crit chance that much, but I will reroll because we have enough nitro to probably get another upgrade. And then let's go with +2 levels. Briefly pause the recording to save you guys from the almighty dad sneeze, and then I'm going to lock these two upgrades to our Subata, because that'll get it to 18. I want to mostly stack all of my upgrades on the same weapon, since they will then multiply each other. Go grab this gold. We're really looking for nitra more than gold, because we have the gold scanner, so we're going to get tons of... we're going to get tons of gold just by kind of running around. And one thing you can do with this character is you can run along the edge of the rocks there, and that will keep your mining upgrade stacked, but not slow your movement. So if you sort of scrape the edge of the rocks on the foreman, you can keep your buff active the whole time. So you can see we're doing it that way and not dropping our buff stacks. And you use this like L-shaped loop here to channel the swarm through. So we're going to run down to this side, and this will give us a nice escape path to get away from the swarm. Trying to make sure to pick up at least some of the Morkite as we go, but I do have to run away, so we'll come back to the Morkite in a minute here. Killed that slightly tougher enemy, and then I'm going to use the explosions from the explodey bugs to kill a few more things. Here, I could take... We're building around fire damage because we have a fire damage main weapon. So I could take the flamethrower or the fire turrets. I'm just going to take the fire turrets. I think that those are really good for just clearing waves as you run away from them. You just leave fire turrets behind you, and then they will always hit the whole wave, basically. Shouldn't have stayed there and taken that hit. There was no reason for that. But we do have... And So this is why you want to focus on the same damage type. It unlocks these like plus 15% fire damage upgrades that then affect multiple weapons really powerfully. So I need a good place to fight the next swarm from. I'm looking for an area of rock that we can mine out that will give us a natural pathway to push them through. So this area seems pretty good. I'm gonna mine my way into here, and then we'll pick up this gold. Here, I'm gonna go with the potency upgrade on this, and then we'll go with 2 parallel bullets. That will allow us to double our DPS against certain enemies. You can see here we've got this narrow pathway, and the swarm enemies are now all coming from the same direction. Really important on higher hazard levels to pay attention to when the swarms are about to show up, so that you can focus on being in a place where you can easily defend yourself from the swarm enemies. It's very easy to... Whoops, I did not mean to pick up the magnet there. It just spawned really close to me. You want to save the magnets for the end of the wave, because then you're going to get the maximum value from picking up as many resources as possible with them, or as much XP as possible with them. So you can see I'm focusing mostly on our turrets and our Subata, so we'll keep upgrading our weapon levels, and I am going to again use the supply drop just to flatten the elite quickly. The faster you kill the elite, the better a reward you get for killing it, so if we can kill it right away, so as soon as it spawns here basically, then we will be able to get a legendary upgrade, which will be really nice. Do I want reload speed on the sludge pump? I think I'm just going to take armor. Run this guy around in a circle, and then it will die. And then we got our legendary upgrade from killing the elite. I don't need the legendary gold upgrade. I will probably just take the... wow, this is interesting. I think I'll just take the reload speed upgrade. It's not amazing for the Subata, which reloads quickly already, but it seems fine. And then here we'll go with some reload speed on this. Get our... artifact as well. Increased fire rate and reload speed when standing still, not particularly exciting. I was hoping for an XP or upgrade or scanner, but extra potency and status effect damage on this status effect focused build are pretty good. Here, let's go with more fire damage on everything. Clear out the remainder of these bugs at least to get a few levels. I want to hit at least 25 before the end of Wave 2 usually, so that's our goal, and we're getting close to that. I have 14 seconds, but I don't see any nearby resources, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get anything too good before the end of the wave. So we'll just park ourselves backwards on the ramp and try to collect as much XP as possible before the drop pod leaves. When you're on the ramp, your guy will walk into the drop pod by himself, so you don't have to run in on your own, which is nice. Definitely want the fire rate upgrade on this gun. We're still building primarily around the Subata, so we're going to take that. And do I want this as well? Yeah, I guess we'll take this. Here, I could pick up the additional potency and extra damage on our fire turrets, so I could pin these two. That's probably worth doing, at least for the rare upgrade, and then I'm going to reroll looking for some gold upgrades that we want. On Wave 2, an XP gain upgrade is still really nice, so we'll definitely take that. We'll take this. I'll do one more reroll, because there's still some gold upgrades that we could get. And here, let's go with some crit chance. And do I want damage or max HP? We'll go with damage. As always in this type of horde survival game, when in doubt, just buy damage. You can never go wrong with just killing stuff quicker. Really nice that we keep getting the Morkite quest, because it's the fastest one for this character to do, and requires the least, like, running around not mining things. So, on this wave, it's now really important that I find good places to try to survive the swarms from. Do I want the flamethrower or the wave cooker? We'll go with the wave cooker. I don't have a strong opinion between those weapons yet. I just don't have enough experience with them, so we're going to try out each of them. So I'm looking for a big rock formation that's not right on the edge of the map. This is kind of an awkward spot to be in for the swarm. But I think we can work our way back through this tunnel. And we'll still be able to get away from the swarm. I definitely needed a slightly better spot there, so you want to be a little more on top of choosing where you're going to fight the swarm from. Got a gear upgrade down there as well. Nice. You can see how much damage the enemies behind us are taking now, because we're doing really well at damage over time. Here, I think I'm just going to still just go with the Subara upgrade. Keep upgrading that gun. When you stack all your upgrades on a single weapon, they're all going to multiply each other. So they are just more efficient often to get the same... get upgrades all on the same weapon. Though here, yeah, more stacks from the wave cooker is good. I will also upgrade our... I don't really need mining speed on the driller because we have the mining speed buff on the foreman. We have the mining speed buff already. It's certainly not bad to take. You can get a lot of extra movement by doing that, but...
Prepare to fight for your life. The big swarm is approaching.
Okay, so I wasn't paying... I ran over here to get the upgrade. I was not paying attention to where the swarm was coming from, so I have put myself in a slightly awkward spot there. I'm going to go with more beams over... Yeah, so you can see we've got enemies approaching from all directions. So definitely messed up my movement a little bit here. We do have an escape route down to the left here, but again, I need to pay more attention to what I'm doing there. I'm going to take at least one hit on our way out. Here, I'm going to go with reload speed on this to make sure it is constantly setting things on fire. And then we've got one more swarm here, so I'm going to park myself here, and we'll use this... make sure I'm actually facing away from the enemies. And we're going to use this set of rocks, and hopefully I can delay long enough that we can move around to this side. I will take one explosion hit, because again, not the best spot to fight the swarm from. So, you know, do as I say, not as I do here. Basically, you're looking for much larger areas of rock formations that you can use to channel the swarms around. And you don't usually want, I think, to be on the edge of the map because that restricts your movement and the swarms will much more easily surround you. Run over here, and we're going to go ahead and... Looks like I will not easily be able to drop the supply drop on the elite just because there's so much that I have to mine out here. Although the elite can help me with that, maybe. When it breaks the... There we go. Broke the last little thing, but our damage is actually high enough that we're killing it without the help of the supply drop. Extra crit chance for each Nitra, extra XP gain at this point, or just more max HP. I think I'm going to go with XP gain. It's still a nice economy upgrade at this point. And then... That's another one where I'm not 100% sure that that's correct. I'm going to go with weapon range here just to get this to level 6 and unlock an overclock. I like the focus lens a lot for helping to cook elites and bosses. The extra range on this really helps, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And more stacks, or do I want 30 Nitra? I think I'm going to go with 30 Nitra. We're a little low on Nitra right now, so having more of that to be able to... upgrade in the next shop is going to be good. I'm going to take pickup radius here. I don't really care about reload speed on the Subata anymore. We have enough. It like reloads almost instantly at this point. Whoops. Okay, I gotta not die to the explosion though. So I was trying to get the Nitra there and then took an extra damage. Ooh, do we have time to get this heal? I think I do. So I easily had time to grab the heal there, and then we're just going to stand on the ramp. I didn't manage to pick up those extra resources, so not the best wave for us. We're level 34, which is pretty good for the end of wave 3, I think. At least given the like meta progression that I have currently. If you have more XP gain and more damage from the meta progression, you may be a higher level. And our resources are pretty good, so we're going to be able to upgrade here. Let's go with extra weapon range on this. I definitely want that. And more damage and potency on that. I guess I'll lock this as well. I don't still need the mining speed, so I'm going to re-roll here. Increased beam damage, excellent. Increased reload speed of our beams is also good. And then the 30 HP is kind of nice as well. That will get me to around 300, which will give me at least enough to survive one hit from the boss if I mess up my movement. Alright, so we got a non-mining quest. It's collecting the flowers. I like the flower collection more than the mushroom collection because there's just fewer of them. You don't need as many, so it's easier. One thing I do wish that they would do is balance the quests, because I think that the mushroom quest is so much worse than the other two quests. So we're going to use probably this rock formation. I'll make one little tunnel through it, and we'll use this to fight. Yeah, because we've got a nice little natural blockade here. So I'm going to use this to fight the first swarm. Stand kind of over here, and that'll channel the enemies through it. I'm spending a little more time than I would like dealing with the swarms here, but still going to be pretty good. Do I want lifetime or damage? When in doubt, we'll pick damage. So again, I want to channel the swarm aliens all on top of each other, and then we'll be able to break our way out over to the east here. And a very easy escape from the swarm. Ooh, a legendary reload upgrade on the wave cooker. The nice thing about the wave cooker, too, once you get a lot of range on it like this, is it goes over walls. This should be... Yeah, if I make a hole here, this should be an okay spot to fight the next swarm from, I think. We've got this natural barrier to the south.
Big swarm detected. Buggerman, get ready.
Oh, okay, whoops. That enemy was faster than my mining speed, unfortunately, so I took a million extra damage there. Very poor play by me there. Let's go with extra fire damage. What happened there is I let my mining speed buff expire. So I wasn't able to get out quickly enough. And work my way around over here. I want to pick up one of these flowers and the HP, but I also need a good spot to fight the swarm from. So we're going to go to the left here. This should be a nice natural location to fight it. And I can mine some nitro while I'm doing it. Keeping my mining speed buff going there. And then I don't care about upgrading our sludge pump that much. Let's just go with more damage on the Subata again. Grab some gold here. Use the chain explosions there. Because we stacked up all the swarm enemies, they all got to explode at once. Okay, even though we aren't upgrading the Subata, when you get the legendary +1, or the sludge pump, when you get the legendary +1 beam upgrade, that's such a huge DPS upgrade for that weapon. I'm still going to take it. XP gain at this point, not that exciting, but it is an epic upgrade, so honestly, I think I'm just going to grab it anyways. Still need to get one more flower here for our quest. I'm going to go mine out this area, and maybe we can drop the supply pod on this boss. This elite, because it's so fast and it doesn't stop moving, it's much harder to drop the supply pod on it. Or, I mean, it does stop moving sometimes, but... so, given that we got the legendary upgrade, I'm going to take the potency upgrade here, and then even more beams? Sure. Yeah, so the supply pod is not going to fall on that guy. I took an extra hit there, so from the explosion enemies. Let's go ahead and get more turrets. So we're just going to focus on DPSing the boss down naturally. I'm also going to grab the magnet pickup. Here we will take extra fire damage, because my damage is a little bit low.
That's a no-brainer.
I'm going to go with some max HP. And we're kind of scattered on our upgrades here. But I should at least be able to get these two to 12. So let's go with more damage on this. More damage on this. We should have time to get the supply drop and the flower before we have to leave here. So got the supply drop. Extra damage, but lower movement speed for Nitra. I do like Pickled Nitra a lot. This is a really powerful upgrade. The downside of lowering your movement speed is obviously pretty dangerous here, but I'm tempted to grab it anyways, because it will just let us kill the bosses so much faster. So I'm not going to worry too much about this, but I think grabbing the Pickled Nitra here is going to be pretty good. Wow, we are slow. We have so much Nitra. I'm going to reduce my Nitra a little bit unless we find a move speed upgrade in the shop. But extra damage is still very powerful.
Stage 4 was obviously a breeze for you, so we look forward to your
so here we can upgrade our turrets and our wave cooker. So let's go with extra damage on our turrets, and we'll get extra charges on those, I guess. That's fine because it'll let us kill the bosses a little faster. The extra weapon levels on the wave cooker will get me the overclock. That's probably worth doing as well. And then, do I want the increased rotation speed or beam width? I'm going to go with beam width because we narrowed the beam. I'm also going to reroll here because I'm hoping for a move speed upgrade. But fire damage, armor, and beam lifetime also really good. So now we can kind of control how much Nitra we pick up and how much we want to use the Pickled Nitra. I am going to get at least this deposit, I think. Gold is not particularly useful here, except for the experience. I also should go pick up this red sugar upgrade, or the red sugar over here, and get some additional HP. And then I do want to trigger the elites a little bit early as well. Come on. There we go. The Subata is what does all of our damage, so I need to make sure that that is constantly attacking elites that I want dead. More reload speed, HP, or I guess we'll just go with crit damage. Our crit chance is not great right now, but crit damage is the increase to our damage output. Mine some meta resources here. Go grab some red sugar. So what I want for there's no swarms on this last wave. So what you want to do for the Dreadnought is you want to make a big open space to make it easier to dodge. So we're going to mine out a big open space at some point. Probably right around here. This is a reasonable spot. And it's near the Dreadnought egg, so we can start attacking it right away and give the enemies the fewest chances to increase their power as possible. Here, let's go with additional weapon damage on this.
Can't land the supply pod. Impact zone is cluttered.
We can use the supply beacon to drop on the boss. That's hard to time properly, but definitely powerful. But I think I'm just going to grab it here because it might give us a defensive upgrade. And because it's in the corner, it's going to be very hard, I think, to drop it on the Dreadnought here. So I could get extra damage. This is going to be plus, what's that, 16% damage. I could also get the jet boots, which could maybe keep me alive against the bosses, but let's just go with more damage. So now there's a reason to pick up gold, for sure. Oh, also a gear upgrade over there. So I'm pretty slow. Dodging the boss is going to be pretty tough. I was hoping to see a move speed upgrade. You see how quickly this the fire damage stacks up and melts the egg there? And then it's going to melt the elite pretty fast as well. We are faster than the elite, So as long as we're still faster than the elite, but I'm not going to pick up this extra nitra. It just seems too dangerous. Even 2% move speed is probably good, just to make it a little easier to dodge the bosses. Run over here, and we'll grab this. Then I'm going to also pick up some red sugar, and we'll grab some gold, and then I need to make my way back towards our open space in the center, near the boss egg, before the boss actually hatches. So with 266 HP, we should be able to survive like 1 or 2 hits from the boss on this hazard level. And our damage output is really good against the Dreadnought twins here. I'm going to stand still now because I've got extra flame turret charges. So if I put down a couple of those and then run the boss through it, that's going to stack up our burning damage against the boss really fast. You can see how quickly they're dying and or healing each other. Again, put down 3 more turrets. Because when you stop moving, all your stored turret charges deploy at once. I was going to stop moving there, but to deploy turrets. But I was going to take extra damage if I did that. The health equalization on these is definitely causing me some issues here. So I really need to explode some enemies here. We're probably going to take a hit from the boss, but I should be able to mine my way back around to this direction. And then, there we go. The exploding bugs took out the swarm because our chain damage was really good. Took 1 hit there, so not the cleanest fight, to be honest, but we should be able to kill it, and then with the one that charges at me dead, we should be able to get the other one very easily. Go pick up my gear drop for some meta progression, and then we will get to the exit. And there you go. So even with a relatively low-level account, you can see that we're still able to progress and unlock the next difficulty settings. So that should give you some idea of how to do that. The really nice thing about this character is you get to just run away from all the enemies and focus on damage output, focus on mining while your damage just kind of takes care of itself, which I really like for the foreman. It really feels like you are running around mining for resources while you know, just escaping bugs rather than fighting them. So we unlocked some more stuff. We unlocked Sector 3, next hazard level for hazard level 3, and a bunch of gear level bonuses. Also, I guess we got some masteries that it's telling me about from previous missions. Crystalline Caverns mastery, Foreman mastery, nice, and 3 pieces of rare gear as well. All right, my friends, let's take a look at our stats here, actually. So 500,000 stacks of fire from our Subata and 750,000 stacks from our Krakatoa turrets. So these did a tremendous amount of fire damage, 16 million fire damage. Also, this nearly 1 million fire damage, or electrical damage, was only from our drone. So that one drone electrical upgrade that also picked up XP was really nice because it meant that we hit a total level of, where do I see that actually? 53. And I didn't have to run around after XP that frequently, so that helped a lot as well. Honestly, the pickled nitra made it a little harder at the end, so I probably wouldn't pick that up again. Without any move speed upgrades, it just was pretty dangerous fighting the bosses there. So you may want to avoid that unless you have tons of nitra to like one-shot them or have a bunch of move speed to offset the penalty. But other than that, I felt like this run was pretty clean. Maybe some movement issues at various points, but obviously you're going to have some mechanics issues when you're learning a game, and one of the great things is that about this type of game is you can make up for those with good decision making. All right, my friends, hope you enjoyed this run, and I hope it helps you get wins on higher difficulty settings. As always, of course, if you have enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. Let me know what mistakes I'm making, because, you know, I'm still learning the game as well, or if I said anything that was incorrect, then feel free to correct me in the comments. And so that people can learn as well from the comments on this video. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more of this and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.